So today we've got a Hudson Hunslet chassis kit from EV North. I'm just going to quickly show you how to assemble this. So you've got a little bag here of spacers, a bag of wheels, axles and spacers, a motor, some buffers and a few other little bits, some M3 screws, and then in the envelope we've got the sides, which is quite nicely detailed. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, it's not a very good shot. Some laser cut pieces of ply and the main frame. So what we're going to need to do is start with some super glue. So we'll put these bits to the side. We'll need the buffers, we won't need the plywood, we'll need these, that and that. So what we'll do here is we'll basically just super glue these on the front, the sides, and then that'll make that part up. Do need to be careful about these bits because these holes here are where the front of the logo, and are where the motor needs to go, because it's very slightly different axle spacing, and the motor goes through this slot. So make sure these holes are lining up with that when you glue these down here, otherwise there'll be all sorts of problems. So I'm not going to bore you with super glue. Normal super glue will do, anything will work. I've personally got a stash of this stick it super glue from the pound shop. That's perfect. So anyway, here's one I made earlier. You'll notice I put the brakes on as well. They just slot down into little grooves and glue in as well. So that's that bit done. Now we need to put our motor in. Again, we've got to make sure we put it in the right way. There's only two complicated bits. As I say, with this you've got to make sure the holes line up with that. Then when we do this, we need to make sure when this slides in here, the motor is on the right side, because these cutouts here actually allow the screws that go into the motor to go past. So in this case we're going to mount it that way because it will go through like so. Right, so screws for the motor, loosely drop them out and lose them all on the desk. There's 4 screws to go in here. It's a 2.5mm Allen key for these. Just loosely get them all in, and then there we go. Right. Oh, that's not the Allen key. There's the Allen key. So that's that. You'll have a bag of these bits, the screws and these funny little bits. They might be green, they might be a different colour, they're only spacers that go underneath. So we're going to put these in, and we're going to use the screws that are also in that bag to screw them all on. Now, because no one wants to watch me putting loads of screws into it, here's one I prepared earlier. So I'm literally going to put that on there, find the screws that I took out of this one. Sort of clippy, screwy, gluey, put together kit. Very simple. What you could do as you're building this is do your painting, so you're not having to try and paint it all in one big piece. Paint it in several different smaller pieces and then assemble it afterwards. Always go for a bit of a better finish. So 6 of those screws on either side. That completes that little bit. We'll push these out here. Now we're going to want this bag, which has got the axles, axles, bushes and wheels in. These slot in here. They're a bit of a loose fit, which is fine because we want to make sure that the axle can turn freely in there. So let's find one of the wheels. Actually, is that? No, it's not that one. That's for the motor. We want the smaller of the spaces. These spaces can be sanded down. Should you need to make any adjustments for the track. Oh, wrong one again. Catch myself out there. Push fit. I'm trying to even that up a little bit. There we go. So once you've got that rolling smoothly, a bit too tight, put some glue on there on the bushes to hold them in place, but make sure that you don't glue it before. You've got to get the axle through and make sure it's smooth, otherwise you might have a bit of a kink in there that stops it running smoothly. Right, bigger bushes, spaces, push down, bit of a tight fit, there you go. And then these, they've got a D shape in, and that lines up with a D shape on the shaft. Pushes on, and somewhere here I have the screws for this. There's one very small washer and another one of the M3 bolts that will go down into that and just stop the wheel from coming off. Again, 2.5mm Allen key does that. Again on the other side. Line up this bit. There we go. Lighten those up. Now we're ready to mate them together. Now, as I say, the cutouts were the important part here. This slides down, the cutouts go around those screws that we put in for the motor. And a bit of a clippy here and there, which is kind of difficult when you've got a camera right in front of you. And there we go, she's pushed into location. And then there's just the final screws that are in your bag for these holes here that'll keep that together. And there you have it. You have your own little Hudson Hunslet loco chassis ready for whatever top build that you want to do. Interesting point, well, maybe an interesting point, there's these little blocks here that have holes in, there for the railings on the cab. I'll quickly show you something that we're working on but haven't quite finished yet. There's the cabs for these, which we'll start releasing shortly. It's almost there. Just got to dial in the print settings a bit better. So there's one on there, there's one on the back. And there's a roof. Again, this will be put out as a kit form, the whole thing, the chassis and the cab, once we get ready. And then we've got a radiator somewhere, which I've loosely put somewhere else as it all falls apart on me. So there's the nose cone that we've also just done with this little radiator. We've got a lot more detail in it, which we're going to put out in the kit for it as well. Anyway, there's your basic chassis, ready for whatever you want to build up. So, thanks for watching, have fun, and oh yeah, one more thing that I forgot to say, these little bits here, you can glue those in there. That gives you the impression that you've got a thicker back plate, which is what the real thing looks like. So yeah, that's that. Quick video, how to build one. Jobs are good. Have fun, be safe, go build.